Socrates and his spiritual midwifery business. 469 BCE, Athens welcomes its top-tier debate troll. In that year, on the Aegean coast, in the city-state of Athens, a lavish basin semi-encircled by mountains, a pivotal event in human civilization quietly occurred. Socrates, a philosopher who would later give countless people a massive headache, was born. Geographically, Athens was the ultimate global hub. To the south was the Mediterranean, leading directly to the ancient world's high-traffic zone, Egypt. To the east lay Asia Minor, home of the ancient influencer Mesopotamia. To the west, that place called Rome was still quietly grinding out its empire beta version in the mud, totally irrelevant for now. Athens' climate was complicated as Socrates himself. In winter, wet, low-pressure air from the Aegean Sea swirled over the city, making Athens damp and chilly, like a northern bathroom without heating, yet inexplicably prone to snow. In summer, the surrounding mountains weren't high enough to contain the Mediterranean moisture, leaving Athens as dry as an old parchment scroll. In short, the local weather was an awkward mix of oceanic and mountainous temperaments, never damp enough when it should be, and too dry when it shouldn't be. Athens' city history stretches back over 3 millennia, but before its official naming, it first had to settle a territorial dispute that felt less like a religious rite and more like a celestial naming rights sponsor competition. 2 deities, Athena, the goddess of wisdom, daughter of Zeus, and Poseidon, the god of the sea, brother of Zeus, making him Athena's uncle, were fiercely vying to be the city's patron. Zeus, the CEO of the cosmos, decided this internal conflict was bad PR. He waved his hand and declared, "Stop fighting. Let the mortals on the ground vote. Whoever offers the most practical gift wins." This myth highlights the advanced nature of Greek civilization. Even omnipotent gods had to respect the democratic will of the far less powerful humans. When the gods themselves were at odds, the solution was a city-wide popular vote, a concept that would have baffled the mandate of heaven's system of Chinese civilization. So, the divine gift-giving began. Poseidon struck the rock with his trident, and a neighing war horse leaped out. Poseidon thought, men love war and speed. Athena stuck her spear into the rock, and a vibrant olive tree slowly sprouted. Athena thought, everyone loves peace, harvest, and plants you can press into cash. The Athenian citizens weighed their options. A war horse meant conflict and expense. An olive tree symbolized peace, abundance, and lucrative olive oil. The vote was a no-brainer. Athena won decisively thanks to her cash crop single item. The city took her name, and olive oil became Athens' most crucial economic pillar. Even the philosopher Thales famously made money by leasing olive presses. Athens' other great pride was producing the finest marble, essentially the ancient world's best material for sculpting statues, or, as we'd call it now, the best, beauty filter material. To thank their successful marketing goddess, the Athenians built the Parthenon entirely out of marble. Unfortunately, today it's just a collection of ruins and broken columns. However, Nashville, Tennessee, USA, built a 1-to-1 exact replica which serves as the ultimate modern complement to the ancient Athenians' genius. It was into this environment that Socrates was born. His era was dubbed the Golden Age of Athens. Sounded glossy, but his family's financial status was decidedly bronze. His father was a sculptor, but one of those uncredited tools who couldn't sign his finished work. His mother was a midwife. Poor children learned early. Socrates couldn't receive a privileged education like his rich kid little brother, Democritus, who was born 9 years later. Socrates spent his youth helping his father earn money in the sculpting workshop. But while assisting his mother with births, he had a groundbreaking professional epiphany. Socrates later declared that he intended to be a spiritual midwife for the people. Just as his mother helped deliver infants, he would help people give birth to new spiritual lives and ideas. This sounds noble, but in practice, he invented a highly efficient spiritual emetic method, forcing people to vomit up their own ignorance. By modern standards, Socrates' appearance was a product of genetics' random failure. A flapped nose with nostrils large enough to store 2 olives, bulging eyes, and a portly, creepy-looking midriff. However, beneath this facade lay top-tier willpower and endurance. He served in the army, and it's said that during a harsh winter march, when all the other soldiers were bundled up like bears and shivering indoors, Socrates was the only one standing on the ice in his usual single tunic, barefoot, marching with more spirit than anyone else. He was essentially a walking cold resistance test machine. He also had a zoning out superpower. A friend once took Socrates to a gathering, but halfway there, Socrates stopped in front of a pillar, having suddenly stumbled upon an unresolved problem. He instantly petrified. He stood there silently thinking for an entire night, only leaving the next morning. Socrates possessed a phenomenal memory and agile mind. He was self-taught, reading every book he could find. But his true genius wasn't just reading widely, it was his endless supply of why and who says. Socrates questioned nearly every opinion and phenomenon. Whenever a doubt struck him, he would scour Athens, hunting down famous opinion leaders for answers. But he inevitably dismissed their answers as wrong or as misleading fallacies for the youth. Thus began his endless debating. He wasn't trying to prove he was right, he was trying to prove how utterly wrong everyone else was. With this suffocating debate style, Socrates quickly became Athens' most popular debater and spiritual mentor. This explains why Democritus, the ambitious young scholar, arrived in Athens, only to find that all the attention had been stolen by this ugly, relentless man, leading him to leave in melancholy. Because in the presence of Socrates, anyone who tried to flex their intellect had to be prepared to be spiritually delivered into an existential crisis.